Celine Song's first film, Past Lives, was absolutely tremendous. Clearly, I loved it. So, purely because of that, I was looking forward to Materialists, and I wanted this film to cement Celine Song as a filmmaker to keep my eye on for more films in the future. I never actually saw a trailer for this film. I just read the premise, saw Celine Song's name, and I was there. But when I read that premise, I was like, okay, Dakota Johnson is a matchmaker. She's a guru. She knows the ins and outs of how it works. She knows how to match people based on the criteria they list on their profiles. And now she has to tackle her own love life with Pedro Pascal, who, according to the maths and the algorithm, is a perfect match for her, but her imperfect, poorer ex-boyfriend, Chris Evans. And it's going to be this big examination on the dating scene. And ultimately, it's going to say how you can't really tell who someone really is just off of the criteria listed on their dating profiles. And yeah, that's exactly what the film is. That's the film. I feel like what the film is trying to say about dating, profiles, matchmaking, and ultimately people is pretty obvious surface level stuff. Of course, you're not going to know who a person truly, really is deep down inside just based on their height, weight, religious beliefs, and all the bullshit they list on a dating profile. There's more under the surface to a person than just the basic stuff like that. I just don't think the film is as insightful as it wants to be and as it tries to be. And maybe it's because I can't personally relate to the film. I've never dated, I've never been part of the dating scene. But I have seen hundreds of films that I don't personally relate to that I've still connected to and enjoyed as a film. So I think those excuses are kind of out the window. Fundamentally, at its core, as a film, I just wasn't really interested in the characters. I wasn't engaged in the story. The way the film tackles its themes and examinations and commentary just didn't really feel all that nuanced. I think they could have gone a bit deeper with it and tackled it in a way that kind of made you realize it on your own, because again, it's one of those films where you have the characters literally saying it out loud, and I think it could have been written and executed in a much smarter way than it was. I also think it could have been brought to life a bit better by a much better, or at least a better directed cast. Because I've got to be honest, Dakota Johnson and even Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal felt kind of one note in this entire film to me. Their performances, their wavelengths were pretty much the exact same from beginning to end. Even when they start navigating emotions at points, it still feels like the same performance, especially Dakota Johnson. I gotta be honest, I don't think Dakota Johnson's all that great of an actress, based on the very few films I've seen her in, granted, but I just haven't been really impressed or wowed by her at all in any of her performances. They've all felt like the same thing in every single film. And the last 10 minutes of this film, you know those Hallmark films? Those ones that are like excessively sappy and cheesy? That's what the last 10 minutes of this film felt like to me. When Chris Evans is declaring his love for Dakota Johnson, it just felt really, really corny. And I was just like, where has this come from? I don't want to be too negative or cynical about this film because its heart is very much in the right place. And its ultimate message of love conquers all, which we've heard a billion times before, it's a good message. And as a hopeful, pathetic, sentimental sap myself, I want to believe that more than anything. It's just the film as a film, story, character, themes, commentary, and the way it goes about tackling all of it just wasn't that good to me. I'm not writing off Celine Song just yet. Everyone has a bad day at the office. Hopefully this was her bad day at the office, and her next film she crushes it and gets back to that past lives magic.